One of the things I think everybody, or people ask me from driving it, they typically say, what's it like to drive? You know, past the value, the scarcity, the sort of the honor that it is to drive it. I would say that compared to almost any other car, especially cars of sort of the modern era with slicks and all sorts of switches and all sorts of, even with the driver aids, this car is a car that almost anybody can jump into and drive fast right away. It simply does nothing wrong. It does everything right. It tells you everything's fine, and it tells you keep going and go faster. You don't have to change the way you think, the way you behave, the way you drive. You just drive it and go. That's incredibly rare. This is one of the most significant Ferrari race cars of all time. It's also arguably one of the most beautiful sports racing cars ever made. This is the only original P4 in the world. This car was built sort of as a counterattack to the GT40, which was doing very, very well at the time. As a matter of fact, the Daytona 24 Hours 1967, which was the season this car raced in, Ferrari had a 1-2-3 finish with the P4s, and this car finished second.
Dawn was to come, and it was not a Fellini dream. It was very real and all Ferrari.
It's a great sight if you know what you're looking at, especially because you understand what Ferrari was and where they were at that time and who they were fighting against in terms of the size of a company like Ford, and also later on in the season Chaparral and the resources that they had. Just the effort that it takes to finish a 24-hour race, to build a car like this, and to get three of them, 1, 2, 3 on the podium, is really, really exceptional. The era that this car was built in was probably towards the tail end of the point in time where everything was made by hand. You had artisans and craftsmen building this car, building these cars, seeing the hammer marks, understanding the decisions people made to make these things. It is absolutely a piece of art that is also a piece of technology that works extremely well. If you were going to try to design a manual shifter, that's what you want it to feel like this car. The steering, you want it to feel like this car. The throttle, you want it to feel like this car. If you could come up with a prototype that says, what sort of feel should you have in a race car of this type, this is it. Every time I sit in one of these cars, I think of the people who have raced them. Whether it's Mark Donohue or Chris Amon or Lorenzo Bandini, I sit there and I think, you're being allowed in this lifetime to drive this thing. It's obviously a fantastic privilege and a great honor and a responsibility, and it really adds something to the experience. It's not like you're feeling ghosts, but you realize also over time the quality of the input that these people had. And one of the reasons why this car is so good is that the guys that were driving it were really good. They knew what they were doing, they knew what to ask for, they knew how to make it better. So you're sitting in this car sort of inheriting all the effort and the talent that these people, whether the craftsmen or the drivers or the teams, put into these machines. That's what makes them great. It's not by accident. It's all the people and the hearts and the energy and the minds of the people who are truly the talents that build these machines that make them what they are.